Hello, my name is Jalissa, and today we have Miss Kathy Lewis for a interview on what she does. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Miss Kathy.
Hello, I am Kathy Lewis. As she said, I am a licensed associate professional counselor. I am working to get hours for full licensure. So I do counseling therapy part-time in the evening just to help people, Sometimes I like to use it as maintenance sometimes, but other times people come because they need to work through some things, get some coping strategies, things of that nature.
So what got you into therapy?
Therapy brought me into it. All of my life, I kind of was that person for everybody, where if they needed to have a conversation, they needed to talk about something, get something off of their chest, I was her. I was studying undergrad, and I took a psychology course, and it finally clicked. This is what I was supposed to do.
So it seems like people really felt comfortable telling you.
Yes. So much so that it happens in grocery stores with strangers.
At least that means you're comforting.
Yes. I mean, and then, again, growing up, I questioned it. Like, why are people coming to have conversations with me about their personal business? And I don't know you.
Would you say it's more of a gift or a curse?
It depends.
Depends on the situation.
Yes. If I'm out in the grocery store doing some grocery shopping, no, it's a curse. Leave me alone. No, just
try to do your shopping in
yes.
peace.
But no, it is definitely a gift because I'm here to help people. Because I feel like everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs that safe space. We can't carry everything by ourselves. We need to release it in some form or fashion. And if I'm that person for people, then so be it.
Did you have an outlet growing up?
No, and that was another reason why I got into it, because I didn't feel like I had that outlet. I was the only girl out of my siblings, and as well as the baby, right? So, of course, no, I didn't really have anybody that I felt comfortable talking to. So when my nieces came along, it was like I needed to make sure that they had somebody, even though they were clear across the country, right? Oh. So I had to make sure I was available to them. And then again, when my daughter was born, make sure she understood that she can come talk to me about any and everything. So again, that's what kind of drove me into the psychology field.
That's so nice. I'm happy to hear that you were able to carry that on.
Thank you.
So do you necessarily like what you do?
I love it. This is part of my purpose.
When did you know that this is what you wanted to do?
Right around 2014 in my undergrad. Like I said, I took that psychology course, and that's when it clicked for me. And I still questioned it then. But it really sunk in when I was doing my internship with Strength Level Motivation. My first session, I said, okay, if I could quit my full-time job, I probably would have. Because it just fueled me in so many ways that I didn't expect to be able to help people.
So does it help you feel more fulfilled when you help other people feel heard?
Absolutely. Because it's making them or allowing them to work through whatever they're going through to become the best versions of themselves.
We all deserve that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Would you say you're the best version of yourself after doing therapy?
I'm always a work in progress.
Of course.
Right? We're always growing. Am I the best version of myself at this moment versus a year or so ago? Absolutely. Because every day that I have breath, I continue to do work on myself and to continue to grow so that I can be the best version of myself going forward.
Of course. So you mentioned you have a daughter.
I do.
And I read up on you, and no, not to intimidate
you or anything.
No. I was reading a little bit to get a little bit of a grasp on your background, and I did see that you're a single mom.
Yes.
Does this fuel the way that you raise your daughter in any way?
Yes. Because again, raising a daughter by myself, when I first had her and became a single mom, I was in that mindset of how I was raised to raise her. And I realized that doesn't work. Because that generation and generations going forward are different than what I was growing up. So the more I was learning about the psychology field was helping me be a better mom to her. Although we always hit bumps in the road, But, and I say she always helped me grow as well. She taught me, to have some patience.
Of
Because
course.
we have patience with everybody else but our children. But, she definitely gave me the grace to figure life out as a single mom. So, yeah.
That's very sweet.
Thank you.
Um, Speaking about children, do you think children's mental health is taken seriously right now?
It's taken more seriously than it has been. I think we still have a ways to go.
I agree.
In mental health in general, right? But yes, children specifically, yes. I feel like, and I probably get, a little backlash for this, but I feel like it should be incorporated into the schools.
I agree.
Because they do need that. Not saying it's going to fix everything, but at least give them the space, right, to feel comfortable with doing it, to talking about their feelings and to working through whatever it is that they're going through, finding some great coping skills to assist them. That way, when they are going off to college, it won't be something foreign to them, and then they'll struggle and suffer, and have the trickle effect into adulthood. So I definitely think it definitely should be some way, somehow incorporated into schools.
I agree with you since there's a lot happening right now and there's not that many resources for that.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely will trickle into adulthood and that can cause a whole bunch of problems down the road.
Absolutely.
So, about what age did you think that you might want to follow this path?
Like I said, I had a feeling, not a feeling. I did this growing up, as in my teenage years, for my friends even then. So it was kind of like in my teenage years set me on that path, which again I didn't recognize, but I was already in progress. But it didn't sink in until I probably was in my 30s. Yeah.
So, you definitely agree that this is what you should be doing now?
Oh, 100%. 100%. It just, with every session and every interaction, it just doesn't even have to be in session. It's what I do, again, in general. It's one thing that I'm working on, because it is who I am, like with friends and family, they come to me and have these conversations. So I'm asking questions. We digging in. Sometimes that can be good, but sometimes that can be taxing on me, because I don't get a break. But I know that's me. That's something that I have to work on. But it is definitely where I should be, for sure.
That's very nice.
Thank you.
I can tell that might be very tasking, especially if you get out of work and then you go to, say, a family reunion and then you have to sit here and talk to all these people about their problems.
Yeah, I do it to myself. I'm trying to figure out, I don't like to use the word trying, but I am doing my best to have a good balance, to just be that person, to be their friend, right? I don't always have to ask the questions for them to look inward, to dig through whatever it is they're going through. But sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah.
They may not like it, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
So,
have any of your clients made you realize anything about yourself?
That's a great question. Yes, they made me realize that I am the person for my family, the one that they call to pick up the phone to go to. Like, made me realize how much I did carry, right? But it also made me recognize that I carried it very well.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it definitely made me realize what I do carry, just within my family in general. Not saying that it's a burden, and I appreciate that they're giving me that space to do so, to be that person that they pick up the phone. But I think that's also contributed from my upbringing, where I didn't have that person, right, to talk to. So it's definitely bring that to the light for me, that I am that person for a lot of people, which I'm grateful for. But it's also making me realize, okay, we need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself with some self-care, so that I don't, get burnt out, and I have a relief for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, has your family supported you this entire time?
Oh,
Like throughout the
absolutely.
entire therapy? Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because again, I was a single mom, and I was a single mom with a full-time job going to school full time. So I definitely had the support of my family, specifically my mother and my father, who made sure my daughter got to where she needed to get to if I couldn't make it because I needed to do schoolwork. So yeah, they encouraged me, they support me, which is great. Um, and it also made me realize the family that I come from. I come from a family of service. Um, which I'm like, okay, I didn't realize that, but I'm like, okay, so this is another reason why I'm supposed to be in this because this is who I am. This is who my family is. We are a family of service where we provide service for individuals in different capacities: nursing, veterinarians, chiropractors,
Oh,
things of that
wow.
nature. Yeah, see what I mean? Serving people. So it just made me feel good. Like, okay, I'm holding my own in my family.
That does seem like a lot, the full time job, and then still trying to take care of your daughter, making sure that she has everything that she needs. But look at where you are now.
Yes.
Congratulations, girl.
Thank you. Thank you. And I had to just recently thank my daughter because she sacrificed, right? Because she didn't always have mom because mom had to do schoolwork. I had to go away and take trips for school. So I had to thank her as well because she definitely sacrificed. She didn't understand it then, but it's as she's gotten older, I think it's clicking for her. She understands it now. And I'm grateful for that.
That's really sweet.
Thanks.
Has she ever expressed any interest for what you do?
Yes, to a degree. She's always intrigued, like our psychology Bible or DSM.
Mm-hmm.
She's always like, "Mom, can I look at this?" I'm like, "Girl, if you could look at it, but are you really going to understand?" So yeah, she definitely has interest. I don't know if she has the full interest of actually wanting to study it and to work in the field, but she is definitely interested just for personal reasons, just to figure things out. Because she battled with some anxiety as a teenager, as most teenagers do. But now that she's on the other side of it, she's definitely intrigued as to, trying to figure things out as far as symptoms, things of that nature, some coping skills, not just for her, just for even some friends that she may be associated with. So yeah.
Do you think anxiety is a common problem among teenagers?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Anxiety as well as depression. It could be, again, from their upbringing. It could be from social media.
Yeah.
They see all the glitz and glam and feel like they may have to have all the glitz and glam that's on social media, not fully understanding that that's not really reality. So they kind of feel that pressure with their surroundings of wanting to be whatever they see on social media. So it definitely can bring some anxiety, some depression. Just even school. Studying in school can definitely bring some of that anxiety as well.
Especially if you don't get a break and
Yeah.
you're already battling anxiety from all the things that may be going on at home.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, struggling. Some people have learning disabilities and they don't want to say, hey, I'm struggling. I'm not sure how to navigate this because of shame or whatnot. So that also can bring anxiety and depression. So it's a lot of factors that play into our kids that develops them that with anxiety and depression.
It does seem like it is a lot,
Yeah,
especially for someone who's not fully grown up. They might not understand it all yet,
right,
and they might not think that it's normal
right.
or that they are different for feeling the way that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important that you said that it's normal
Yeah.
and it's something that happens a lot more often than we think about.
Yes, and I just hope that parents and family understand that, to get them the help that they need, and that the kids also understand that it's okay to say, "Hey, I'm struggling." Right? There is no shame in that. My hope is that they look at therapy as not something that is shameful. That they look at therapy as like, okay, I need this outlet. I need to go figure this out for myself, so that I can be better. right? It's well as families say, okay, I think my kid would benefit from therapy, right? Um, because it is such a positive thing.
Absolutely.
And I'm grateful for the kids that do come to therapy and are willing to come. Because, you get kids that parents will say, well, you're going to therapy. And the kids would just sit there and say nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful that we do have kids that come in and are ready to talk, which is amazing. So, yeah.
Do you often have kids that do you often have kids that are normally shy to talk to, like scared?
I don't know. Yes, very, very reserved. It's you're talking to a stranger,
Yeah.
right? We well, not we, but I grew up in that era where you don't talk to strangers. You don't talk to anybody that's not living in our house. So when now we're sitting across from a room, I'm a total stranger to them. So we have to just build that rapport, and as time goes on, we build that rapport. You can see them loosening up a little bit, getting a little bit more comfortable. So it definitely takes time, for sure. It takes time.
Have you gotten better with easing them up to you?
Yeah, yes, I tell them, listen, I'm human just like you are. I'm here for you. We're not going to solve the world's problems. We're not going to solve all your problems right now. I like to play games with the kids. I know we were just playing out there playing Uno.
Headbands too.
Yeah.
Very entertaining.
Yeah. So, you play games with them and incorporate some therapeutic techniques into it. And that kind of loosens them up a little bit, right? So yeah, there's ways to build that rapport to get them more comfortable with having conversations. Yeah.
So about I know not a lot of parents are comfortable with their child going to therapy
Mm-hmm.
because they might feel like it's something that they did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, and again, I think it's parents because they have that. They may come from that generation where therapy was looked at negatively. Um, but again, what is said in therapy is confidential, right? The only time we have to say something if they're talking about harm or any type of abuse or things of that nature. But I don't. I try and I also incorporate the parents. Like I give the parents opportunity to come in. At the beginning of the session, throughout the entire session, so they both get comfortable, right? To understand that I'm here to help, right? I'm not here to point fingers. So that tends to help a lot by inviting the parents in so that they can, one, give me their perspective of what their child may be going through, but also understand that I'm just here to help and I do value their input. And to get the child and the parent comfortable in the space of therapy.
Since therapy is such a positive experience, why do you think it's looked at so negatively?
History. That's it. It's just history. There generations ago, it was looked at if you're going to therapy, you crazy, right? So we are trying to chip that away, so that is not thought about any longer. And we're doing a great job. We got ways to go, of course, but that's why, and that gets passed down through generations. So my parents' generation came from that world where you're not going to therapy. And then their parents who came from that generation, you going to therapy or you crazy? So again, it just gets passed down until somebody breaks that cycle. And I'm here to break that cycle.
So since we're talking about the cycles are that's something that I completely agree with, and it will just keep going down and down and down, and it won't ever stop until someone's just notices that
Yeah.
this is maybe not what I should be thinking about. If
Mm-hmm.
this is a fixed mindset, maybe I should be opening my mind to different things.
Absolutely.
But where do you think the stigma of people being crazy came from?
Whew, I don't even know the century or the year it came from, but it was so long ago that that it, yeah, I can't even recall when exactly when it started. but it definitely was centuries ago, I want to say. Um, and it was more so for therapy. I believe it was for the wealthy, right? So the only reason why the wealthy was going to therapy because somebody they labeled as crazy. Um, with now what we now know is like schizophrenia, things of that nature. But I think it was so from so long ago that it was only the wealthy that may have put that stigma out there that okay, well they need to go to the psychiatric unit because they're crazy, and that just got passed down again just through the generations, things of that nature.
I think the word crazy is very demeaning.
Absolutely.
I think that's not something you should call absolutely anybody. If they
No.
have a disability, they should be recognized as a disability. That's
Exactly.
incredibly disrespectful.
Yes, very
Because
much so.
what if someone came up to you and diagnosed you and just started saying things that were really mean?
Right.
They would not like that,
Right. Word choices is important. Right.
especially when it comes from somebody who you may have told and like somebody who you may have told in comfortability.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a word? Yeah,
Confidentiality. Yeah.
confidence.
Yes.
Yes. Um, if they had told something somebody something in confidence and they just get told they're crazy,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be very like reserved about it, and they're not gonna want to go to therapy anymore.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, yeah, it's and they kind of what they use it as a weapon. They weaponize it right against you. If you tell somebody something when you're in your vulnerable moment, and then they use that against you and bring other people into it. So yes, they can become very reserved and not want to talk to anybody about it, let alone a therapist, because now they're trying to open that door again, and they may not believe, oh, you might be a therapist, but are you really going to keep my stuff confidential because of their past experience? So yeah, it definitely can be damaging to people. But that's why, again, I tell people, eh, you got to know who your circle is. That's also important, right? You got to know that everything is not meant for everybody, right? It's always great to have people that you are able to confide in, but you may have friends that you may not be able to for whatever reason, and that's okay too.
I feel like a big part of learning who your friends are is understanding that not everyone has your back like you think they do, and that can be really heartbreaking to some people to find out. But
Mm-hmm.
it's as sad as it is, it's really normalized.
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, um, so since we were speaking about trust, do you have a lot of people who come to you with trust issues, like in your field?
Oh, absolutely. That is one of the things that is why what brings people to therapy is, especially with couples. I do see couples as well, and they may not trust each other for whatever reason because of past. Could be one cheated on the other, things of that nature. But yeah, so they come to me wanting to rebuild trust, which is very difficult because it takes healing. You got to heal from the situation. Uh, it definitely takes work. But yeah, a lot of people come with trust issues. Um, a single person can come to me with trust issues because of something that happened in their past, and now they're not trusting for anybody else to come into their world, but not understanding that you got to heal from whatever that was that hurt you, and understand that you can't change it. You can just heal from it and then trust yourself to make better decisions going forward. And I think that's a lot of it is they may not trust themselves. They say they don't trust people, but I don't know if they really trust themselves to make the best decision.
Yeah. Um, that's a really deep. That's a really deep topic. Um, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of different reasons not to trust people right now, and that can cause a lot of issues,
Mm-hmm.
especially with friends, relationships, family. It could cause a world of problems that they don't even realize,
Mm-hmm.
especially because they're so focused on the fact that they can't trust anybody, that this breaking the relationships with their friends and their family when they confide in them with things, and they don't want to tell them anything back because they feel like maybe I shouldn't tell them this because they're going to go tell this person and then they're going to go tell this person. So maybe I shouldn't just say anything at all.
I think they have to look within, because everything starts within us. Everybody else is external. If we work on things that's within us and within our control, then the world is our oyster, right? I will be able to trust. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to trust everybody and let everybody into my world. Then that's when I set boundaries. So where I worked on myself and healed everything that I've experienced. Okay, well, now I have this friend. Yes, I trust you, but I have a boundary. And I think that is what will allow people to be the best versions of themselves. Healing within.
Absolutely. I feel like after you heal within, there's nothing that can get to you from there.
No, absolutely not. My daughter always says, "Mom, I never see you upset. What am I be upset for? For what?
Nothing's ever that serious."
It's not. It's not that serious. But if it's within my control, then okay. If it's out of my control, then what do you want me to do about it? Still get upset? No, that takes way too much energy. I need all my energy. I need to reserve it.
Have you have you said that to your clients as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I tend to if like the kids would say, I kind of keep it real with them, and I tell them that up front. Like, I may say some things that you may not like, and it's okay. But I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. And I may ask some questions that may sting a little bit. But understand that that's in your best interest. What I feel is in your best interest for you to work through whatever it is you're working through. With my nieces and then my friends and family, I like to tell people I'm your reality check sometimes. Because, sometimes we live in this world that is not reality. So I like to ask questions that kind of bring you back to reality a little bit. Let's look at the center of it versus the big picture of things that you may want or what you feel you may deserve, right? Let's hone in and look at the core of it. So yeah, I absolutely tell them that.
I feel like a lot of people need reality checks.
Yes.
Especially because a lot of the times they are living in their own world and they're not really worried about what anybody else thinks.
I don't think you should worry about what other people think.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Of course not.
Yeah. I just think it's understanding that you're in control of your own life and whatever it is that you feel that you want in life, and you can get it. But you have to understand that you're in control, and nobody else can dictate or tell you what you should do. Ultimately, it's your life, and you got to do it.
Absolutely. Has there been times where you had to tell your younger clients that?
Absolutely. Yeah, they kind of like, okay, what is worried about what the girl says at school, or whatever the boy says. Yeah, well, what do you say? What do you want? How do you feel? It's important for them to recognize the power that they have and not to give it to anybody else.
Because once you give it away, then that power is all theirs, and those thoughts keep running through your mind over and over again. Absolutely. And then they win.
Absolutely. So I help them regain their power. Because once you get that power, man, that is a beautiful thing.
Especially as a teenager, that must feel great.
Yeah. So I like working with teenagers to help them get that power. Because, again, they look at social media, and that is what kind of is the trend, right? So if they regain that power, they can still look at social media, but it won't be, "Ooh, I want to be like that," or "I want that," because honestly, what you see on social media is not real, most of it, right?
Yeah.
But if they regain that power, they can say, "You know what? This is the way I want my life. This is what I want to do." Social media can be just entertaining. versus something that's just my go-to that I need. That right?
Yeah. So walk me through what a day would look like, just a regular day with a client.
So our first session is usually just the intake, right? So it's just us getting to know each other, specifically me getting to know you, your coping skills. Of course, just like every appointment, we have you fill out paperwork. So it gives me a general idea, but I always like to hear it from the client. Things like what they may be struggling in, what coping skills that they are currently using, or what they used in the past that no longer works for them. Any trauma that they've experienced in their life. Did they heal from that trauma? Are you still processing that trauma? How did that trauma show up in your life currently? Um, it can be anything from, again, depending on if it's adults, it could be childhood trauma, right? It could be generational trauma. I ask what are their goals for therapy, because I think that's important to get their input, right? What do they see that they want to work on? And I typically would incorporate that into their treatment plan, as well as whatever I feel like is would be helpful for them. So it's really just getting to know each other that first session. Again, it's our intake session, so it's just, again, also getting them comfortable with me to build that rapport, because people do come in, some may be a little tight. So as you get them talking, they start to loosen up a bit. Again, I just kind of relate to them on whatever level they're on, and just give them that understanding and that space to validate how they feel. So that's typically how first sessions go.
Seems busy.
It is. It goes fast.
I bet it does.
Once they get talking, it definitely goes fast. I kind of, like I said, they do paperwork, so I kind of go off our intake sheet. Again, just to see if they had any past diagnosis. Do they have an anxiety, depression, things of that nature? And once you get them talking, the hour goes.
So speaking of like coping methods and things of that nature, what's your favorite method that you like to use?
As far as therapy, it's really I'm definitely person focused. I kind of tailor it to whatever the client needs, but I definitely tap into the cognitive behavior therapy, because also trying to get them to reframe some things, how they're thinking, their thought processes, or it could be, like I said, I'm very person centered, so I tailor it to that person, and I like to give them to look at things from a different perspective. That's why I like to use cognitive behavioral therapy, because I allow them to reframe things, to think of it, look at things from a different perspective. And when I do that, they're like, wow, I never looked at it like that. Gives you a different outlook and a perception of things, to say, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't respond or react like that. Or maybe I can work through this, things of that nature. So, yeah. Because we, as humans, our thoughts are our thoughts, right? The way we think is the way we think. We're not going to look at any other sides of anything that we're going through, right? Because it's our thoughts, and we are tailored focus on how we feel and how we think about something. So to have somebody come in and say, hey, look at it from this angle, it gives you a different view of something, right? And if you get that different view of something, you're like, oh, well, maybe that didn't happen the way it did, or maybe I could have done this better, right? I think we all need it at times, especially when we're going through some things, because we have that we call tunnel vision, right? So we only see what we see that's in front of us, right? We don't see anything outside of here. So I think we all can benefit from that on any given day.
Yeah, of course. I feel like that also builds empathy and helping them feel what other people may be feeling, even if they might have hurt their feelings.
Right, very
and
true.
Understanding that maybe they're going through something that they put against you because they don't know how to deal with it themselves.
Very true. Very true. Again, looking at it from a different perspective. I love telling people that. Let's look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I can't. I promise you can. Well, and then I ask a question. And they're like, oh. And then they still try to give, that pushback, like, no, I'm going to look at it like this. So then you ask more questions, and it starts to, again, to open their eyes. They're like, okay.
They start to realize.
It's a beautiful thing to see, to witness.
Because you can see them slowly start to realize.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But the goal is not just to realize it in therapy, but then apply that outside of therapy, which of course takes time.
Of course.
Right? Anything, because we're so used to and accustomed to thinking how we think. But one of my goals is to, when we look at it from a different perspective in session, the next time something like that happens, you be like, oh, wait a minute. I learned this in session. Let me think a bit from this angle. So, yeah.
Do your clients often come back and tell you that they had moments like that?
Yeah, it takes time, but yes. Yes, I love hearing those moments.
Makes you feel proud.
It does. Proud of them, right? That they stuck with it, that they did the work, that they're now seeing the fruits of their labor, if you will, right? So yeah, I'm just happy for them, because you can see like the weight lifted. So that's a beautiful thing to witness.
I feel like being able to watch them grow from the person when you first met them to how they are now would be great too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It fuels my purpose. That's why I got into the field, so that I can have those types of moments, right? I'm not saying that I'm always going to have them, but when I do, they're definitely special, and it's great for not just for me, but more so for the individual, for them to see. And I always like to point that out in sessions when I recognize the growth. I always make sure that I tell the clients, listen, this is what I see, the growth in you, but I want you to also recognize it, because it's different if I just recognize it. If you see the growth that you made, and you're like, okay, let me keep using this outside of this hour, right? That way they keep growing. That's the beauty.
Of course. If somebody is listening out there, somebody who would want to be a therapist, what advice would you give them?
I would say, just make sure that that's what you want to do, because it can be a lot for people, right? Because think about it. If you're working 8 hours a day, you're listening to 8 individuals, what they're going through. But if they are solid in their decision to go into the psychology and go into therapy, go for it. Go for it. And as well as for them to experience sitting on the couch, if you will, right? To understand it, because we all had times we need to work through something, right? So they can understand it from that perspective as well. But I definitely tell them, do their research, because there's so many different avenues that they can go to as far as in psychology, but go for it. Go for it. If you are in helping people and serving people, go for it, especially when it comes to mental health. Go for it.
So before you started therapy, what were you doing?
I do have a full-time job, so I do therapy on part-time. Oh. So I do work full-time.
You did mention that.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite class during all those years of schooling?
That's a great question. Now you're making me think back. Wait a minute.
Don't say math.
No. Ma'am, no.
Oh my goodness, I hate math. Don't even get me started,
Me
girl.
either. I'm not a numbers person. That was not my cup of tea. When I was going to school for psychology, my favorite subject. I can't even think off the top of my head. I would have to get a list.
That's fine. Take your
time. That's a great question. It had to do with like the clinical interventions. Because I think that's when I was able to dive into all the different types of therapies, the interventions that we use. And I don't even know if I had a favorite class. I think the whole program was my favorite, because it was tailored to psychology in my master's level, right? My graduate level. My undergrad degrees in criminal justice. But I think the whole psychology program just was my favorite from beginning to end. Because it definitely kept me intrigued. Um, it made me want to continue because it was feeding me. So I think every class fed a different part of me. So I think the whole entire program just was my favorite just because it's part of my purpose, right? And it fueled me and gave me the knowledge that I needed to walk in my purpose. So I don't think one specific class was my favorite.
That's amazing. I'm glad you were able to enjoy everything.
Me too. Now, it was hard. Don't get me wrong. Again, working full time, raising a kid, so I had to juggle some things. But yeah, there was not one time where I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm not doing it. Absolutely not. But the one part that definitely gave me greater fulfillment was when I was doing my internship. Because that was the first time I was able to sit in a session and do therapy and have a client that I work with. And I think I mentioned at the beginning that I was like, once I first did it, I was like, okay, this is my purpose. So that made all the years of school so worth it, even if it was just for that one session, because that was everything for me.
That seems like a very full circle moment. You've been waiting for a long time, and
definitely,
you finally got it.
Definitely. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that I found strength, love, and motivation. Because for so many reasons, right? Because the owners look like me, and that was important for me. Of course. Right? That was a part of another reason why I got into psychology, because I wanted individuals that came through that door to understand that somebody sitting in the office chair looks like them. Because in our community, again,
it's not that common.
No, not at all. So to work for and be a part of a practice that is for us, by us, as they say.
That's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
So what would you say was, well, not your favorite, but your most intriguing thought about psychology?
I was always interested in why people do the things they do. What makes you you? And that is what got me into psychology. I always want to know, like, why do you respond like that? Why do you react like that? Why do you move like that? Like, what is going on up here that makes you do these things? So I needed to understand for selfish reasons, right? Trying to figure people out.
But now you're helping people.
But then it was like, okay, I can help people. This is what I was meant to do. So that's what brought me into psychology. I wanted to know why people did the things they did.
That's an amazing story. So, did you have anything that you wanted to specialize in, like a specific type of therapy?
That's funny. I just asked somebody that question because that question was asked to me, and I don't have anything on the typical scale that I want to specialize in, but what I specialize in is providing that safe space for people. That's the beginning and that's the end. Of course. Because I think that is the foundation. When people walk through that door, they can feel the positive energy, the safe energy to get to and be at their most vulnerable, to work through whatever it is that they need to work through. So it's literally, I specialize in providing that safe space for people, especially for people that look like me.
Of course. That's amazing. How do you feel that you're able to help so many people, like deep down, that you couldn't get the help that you wanted, but you're able to give it out to other people?
It fuels me. Again, I'm so appreciative that they even allow me to be that person, and I tell them that all the time. And although I may not have had that person growing up, I now know that I have that person. I can find that person, right? In my clinical supervisor, Dr. Davis Bowie. I can definitely find that in her, right? I can also have my own therapist, right? And it's okay. I can sit on somebody's couch or talk to Dr. Davis Bowie and be like, you know what, this is what I'm going through. Mm-hmm. It's allowing me to be more vulnerable than I ever was. But because of I didn't have anybody to talk to when I was younger, yeah, I had a problem with being vulnerable.
Yeah.
So again, it's a work in progress. We all are always working, right? So it's definitely allowing me now to be vulnerable and work through whatever it is I need to work through and just release whatever I need to release.
Of course. That's so like I love your story and everything sounds so like I don't know how to explain it. Like your story feels so ethereal,
Thank you.
and I just want to tell you, you're amazing, girl.
Well, thank you. Right back at you, girlfriend.
Thank you, girl. So Miss Kathy, everything was worth it.
Absolutely, 100%. I would do it all over again.
Of course.
Definitely would do it all over again, just to be able to sit in the seat and pour back into people, to help people, to give people that safe space, to be the best versions of themselves, because that's my ultimate goal.
If you had to say something to someone who grew up like you, what would you say?
It's okay to be vulnerable. Find that person that you can be vulnerable with. Don't hold anything. It's okay. It is okay that you feel hurt. It's okay that you experience some things, but you can come out on the other side of that and be great and be amazing. That's what I would tell my younger self.
Well, thank you for that, Miss Kathy.
Thank you.
So, this was Miss Kathy Lewis. Thank you guys for watching.